Alright, hello all. Welcome back to the Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video here. So it's that time, again here. It's time to do a top 15. Now, the last one I did was post GDC. It was like literally as it ended, essentially. And I do have that pulled up here. So this is what I thought post GDC. This was, I don't know exactly the date I did this, but it was the start of August, I think. The very start of August would be my guess. So just to give an idea of how long ago that was and, what I was thinking at the time. Now, just to go off some things at the start here, right? This is October 11th. I probably should state the date every time I do one of these. So these are going to be my thoughts today. We currently are in the celebration with Dokkan Fest TUR Baby. There will be a Part 2 LR revealed. My guess is in, 3 to 4 days, somewhere in that range. I think it's going to be, like, the 14th 3 a.m. my time is my guess. I'm not entirely sure, though. So I could wait for that LR to release, but firstly, we don't know how good they'll be, obviously. And secondly, I don't even know if I'll be able to get the most experience with whoever it is. Right? Because, I'd say TN had a pretty decent leader skill. But, like, PyCon was, like, Savior's Otherworld Warriors, right? So, who the hell knows what the Part 2 LR friend lead or the lead is going to be, because I will probably have to run them as a friend lead, because I'm probably only going to use the Dokkan Day tickets to summon for them. So I probably won't get them. Although I did get TN. He's the only one I got off the Dokkan Day tickets, but I have gotten TN off him, so maybe. We'll see. But yeah, this is what I was thinking before. I will say, I think a lot of the top characters haven't really changed too much. Now, since I have done this, right, we have gotten 5 new LRs added to the game, sort of. Well, in a way. We've also Easy A's, Super Easy A's, right? First, we had the LR Dokkan Fest Frieza and Gogeta tag, right? Then we had Easy A LR Golden Frieza. Then we had Wrath Broly. Then we had Super Easy A Broly. And now we have Easy A LR Super 17. Now, I'm just going to say at the start here, I want to get expectations in check now. I now maybe this is better. This is a better look at just how good our current roster of LRs is. But I don't think a lot of those characters that have been added since the last one I did make the list. I do think my thoughts have changed on several of the placements, though, at least towards the lower half, specifically because of Frieza and Gogeta. So we're ready to get started here, essentially. Oh wait, real quick, I do want to note. I make sure to note this every time. I am a free-to-play player. I used to be a spending player, not a spending player anymore. So, if it's like an Easy A, for the most part, it's probably my look at my most experience is with dupes, right? If it's a brand new character, for the most part, my experience is primarily without dupes, right? So I just like to throw that out there every time, just to give an idea of. I don't have everyone rainbowed and everything. I do have everyone like Link level 10. I definitely do that. But rainbowed, that's not. If it's like an older character, probably like an Easy A. But if it's something that just came out this year, it's not really likely. But I will also say how many dupes I have in each character. But yeah, we are essentially ready to get started though. So I guess let's just jump into it. These last couple, I've only done 2 of these so far. This will be my 3rd tier list I've ever made. I think it's a little redundant. I don't know if I said this. I think it's a little redundant to, I get that people like them or whatever, but I don't know. just to do one like every single new LR release, I think that's redundant. Every like 2 or 3, sort of new releases, and I count, Easy A's, Super Easy A's as releases. I think it's a good time to do them. Now we've had 5, so I'm a little over at this point, which is why I'm doing this now before the Part 2 LR comes out. Plus, I don't know if I'll even get to use them. So I'll probably update this again towards the end of the year, with the Christmas Carnival would be my guess, but we'll see. But yeah, let's get started here. All right, so at the beginning, I do have Super Easy A, LR, Goten, and Trunks. Now, referring to my last one here, I did have them 14th. I mean, it's not like they've really changed in the meta. I don't think. I mean, they're doing the same exact thing. The meta is like in the exact same place. It's more so just I do think that the dodge does hold up a bit better than whereas Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, his Easy A, is just tanking, right? And also for these guys, I think I have 3 dupes in that. Is what I have. Gohan, unfortunately, I only have 55%. As crazy as that is, I know I said most Easy A's I'll probably have dupes in. He's like the one character, or one of the characters, and have just always avoided me. I only got him like 2 years ago or something, I think, originally. So, it's just, that's a little unfortunate. I think he's pretty decent. And that is something else I do want to say here. Right? All of the characters on here, I think, are still really good. Even though some of them are not on this current tier list. All of these are good. I think you could honestly make to a top 20, a top 25 of, like, really good characters. But, I mean, that's going a bit far, right? So, I think top 10, I don't like to do those because there's so many good characters in the game that I think a top 15 better shows that. Because I don't like to give the impression that's like, okay, if you're not in the top 10, you're ass. Which, in the past, that was definitely the case. I mean, you could even be like top 6 and then going 7 down and be like, who sucks the least? That'd be like old Dokkan. Modern Dokkan, I mean, you could probably make it to a top 20, 25, 30, and they'd still all be really good. It's just, obviously they start to fall off more and more as you go down. But not that they're bad, it's just they're worse than the others, right? So, yeah, I think Super Easy LR, Goten, and Trunks I'd put here. I mean, there's not really much to say about them. They dodge, they do good damage. I mean, they're good at tanking normals. I mean, they're not really good for tanking supers, but they're good at tanking normals, and they have a lot of dodge. I mean, their support, it's only crit, but still, I really like them. So, I got them at 15. Next, we do have Easy A, LR, Golden Frieza. Now this guy is really crazy. I really like this guy's Easy A. They designed him perfectly. One of the things I just like so much about his Easy A, right? If we look pre-Easy A, this was such a huge change. A lot of people apparently didn't, at least one person I know didn't know about how this worked. So if you didn't know, in the past, this ability, every single turn it would go down. Right? So you'd get him turn 1, he'd have 90% damage reduction. Turn 2, even though it's not his second turn, just turn 2 in general, he'd be at 80%. Turn 3, when he comes back around, he'd be at 70%. Right? So it went down very, very rapidly in the past. Now with his Easy A, they made it every 2 turns. So if you're keeping him on the rotation, right? Turn 1, 90% damage reduction. The next time he's around, 80% damage reduction, right? And that's a lot better than, it falls off a lot slower, right? That gives him a lot more room to age. I mean, he has the guard. In my experience, I mean, he's pretty much immortal. Damn near, at least, turn 1. And I would say he's actually a lot less, like 80% damage reduction, he's still really good, I think. Once you start going down to 70, 60. I mean, the bosses just do so much damage that, you know, I do think that even though he has huge amounts of damage reduction, it does start to penetrate through him, which is why I have him on the lower end of the list. But that turn 1, even like turn 2, I think he's well, turn 1 you could just like throw him in slot 1. I do think so. He'd be perfectly fine. Turn 2, then I'd start to say, okay, maybe take advantage of him in slot 2, 3, right? But he's really good. I really like his ECA. I actually, this ability in particular is actually really cool. It does make the active actually do something. You know, I have fallen below this a significant amount of times, but he's not like very weak when you do, at least in my experience. It's, I mean, I guess he doesn't really get defense on the 12 key. So I mean, you lose the start of turn stats if you're not over the HP threshold at the start of turn. But in my experience, it hasn't been like a death sentence for the most part. It's just you gotta hope there's a lot more normals than supers. But I think he's really good. I'm really happy with his EZH. Just there are so many good characters in the game right now that I do think he's probably lower. I mean, honestly, I could definitely see an argument to like swap him with the next character as well. I might honestly even do that, actually. I think I'll do that. I mean, I'm very either or for this next character, but I suppose we'll just go into them. My next character, top 13 here, Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Although, honestly, maybe I'll have EZA Golden Frieza as 13. I don't know. I think they're kind of similar in a sense. I mean, well, Goku can definitely get, you know, fucked up in the first, you know, when he's just Super Saiyan 3, if he doesn't dodge. In my experience, though, he's always a really good dodger. Oh, by the way, I have 3 dupes Golden Frieza. I have no dupes in my Goku. For Super Saiyan 4 Goku, I really do like his Giant Ape. I found the Giant Ape to be very helpful. I mean, obviously, his support on Super Saiyan 4 is really good. I mean, once again, not much has changed. There's not much to say about him. I think he's been really good all year. I mean, they designed him really good. I will say, like the new Dokkan Fest TUR baby, just looks like a sort of like a TUR version of him, essentially. I don't think he's like as strong, but he's still really good. I don't know. I see a lot of people like don't really like baby. I don't have baby. I haven't really gotten to experience him because I don't want to. Because the issue with trying him out, right, is, and I probably should have, but I haven't. The issue is, you know, I have Omega, which would be really good, but then it'd only be running one Omega, right? So then I'd lose out on 70% phase 1 defense and the 10% damage reduction, which would be a big hit to not only how baby looks, but everyone else on the team looks. So I don't really have the ability to properly showcase him, unfortunately. But I mean, his design is really good. Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I think he's probably, I mean, a lot of these dodge characters just age very gracefully, honestly. I really hate dodge at this point. It's become so frustrating for me. But I mean, they do age very well. I mean, I do have as you can see, a certain someone. He's still on this tier list, by the way. He's just gonna age great forever. I mean, just Immortal turn 1, fucking revive, and then Immortal again, and it's like, he's just so crazy. But yeah, not too much to say about Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I mean, we already talked about Golden Frieza, so let's close these out. Next, I do have EZA, LR, Vegeta, and Trunks. I think they're still decent. I still think they're really good. Once again, I mean, the meta hasn't really changed since they came out. Now, on this tier list, I did actually have them above Vegito. Initially, I had Vegito above them, I am once again thinking I like Vegito more than them. And, I mean, they were 9 before. Right now I have them, 12. And it's like, okay, well, did they fall off? Not really. The character I have ahead of them, I think has gotten a significant buff, personally, from the release of Frieza and Gogeta. So it's more so along those lines, I think. But they're still really good. I mean, I really like their defense. I know a lot of people don't really like them. I've personally found a lot of success with Vegeta and Trunks. I never really have issues with them. They always tank really well for me. I find the support to be really helpful. I don't really get why people don't like them so much. I mean, I get the stack. I mean, we all went crazy at first. Oh my god, they stack for allies. And it's like, well, you know, it's good in a sense, but it's not like amazing also. Because, if you're a stacker already, like, take the 7th tiers. I mean, they can super 5 times turn 1, 4 times after that, right? They get 50% stack per super. So, I mean, in one turn, they can be 250% SA phase, 200% SA phase. This is 5% SA phase, right? So, I think maybe they could have even bumped it up to like 10% or something. I think they were probably a little scared of going too hard with the effect, given that it's the first character that's done something like that. I'll be curious to see if they add that to someone else in the future. They probably will. But what exactly that's going to look like. But yeah, I really like Vegeta and Trunks. It's just I do think this next character has gotten a bit of a glow up recently. So to go into them, I do think the next character, Gogeta, AGL Gogeta. Now this character, well, I suppose I should say Super Gogeta, right? Because it's another AGL Gogeta. It's crazy, I really hate this design still. Why the fuck double guard, right? It doesn't make sense, It just makes no sense. I don't get it. However, I might as well get the cat out of the bag now. With the release, I did say sort of hint at this, of the Dokkan Fest tag LR Golden Frieza Gogeta card. I think Gogeta's actually looks a decent bit better, right? I mean, obviously, if you're the extreme side of things, right, just building like the Golden Frieza, I don't know. So, like, initially with that character, it's like, okay, they want us to build extreme and super. That's so weird. I found, in my opinion, that's not really the way to build them. That's not really what the devs were going for. The devs were just trying to help 2 teams at once with the release of the card. So you are supposed to build them extreme or super, not both. It's just, I don't know. It's a little weird to have a card like that, but that's because the thing is, I mean, Gogeta is still extreme. Is part of why it's an issue, because that does mess with like the tag Blue Goku, and Vegeta from GDC, right? I mean, they're conditioned; they need the super class rotation or the future, so like an ally. So you can't really run Gogeta, Golden Frieza effectively on that team, unfortunately. Which, to be fair, I think was kind of probably intentional from the devs. They're like, we don't want this to be too strong of a team, which I guess I get. But yeah, that character, and specifically the Gogeta form, I mean, that support you can get 230% on the active skill turn. And on the first turn, I mean, you get a lot of orbs. In my experience, I'm getting like 13, 14, 15 orbs that first turn just from exchanging, right? So, 130, 140, 150% phase 2 support. I mean, AGL Gogeta has 100% phase 2, right? You're effectively doubling his phase 2. So you're effectively doubling his defense. It's just, I feel like he's gotten a pretty decent glow up. I still think his design is kind of bad, but with LR Golden Frieza Gogeta, I think this guy gets a better chance to shine. And honestly, just like float him off first turn, right? Then you can go into Goku, or I mean, I guess if you want to keep him on the turn, I wouldn't suggest it. You could keep him on for one more turn and then go into Gogeta. But and obviously, I mean, Gogeta's still insane himself. It's just the issue with this card has always been like if you could just go into Gogeta, guard 60% damage reduction, 5% per Rainbow Key Sphere. Like it's this guy is still insane. Obviously, it's just Vegeta, and Goku. I'd say I still really like Goku. It's just the Vegeta side has aged pretty badly, which I get what they were going for. One Vegeta's offensive, one Vegeta's defensive, one Goku's offensive, one Goku's defensive. Like I get that sort of what they were going for, but it did not work out greatly. Because they also wanted, one Vegeta to be the start of a character and one Goku to be the start of a character, but I don't know. They should have done something differently there. Because Gogeta definitely is meant to be the defensive character. It should have started out being the defensive character, not offense, but I digress. But yeah, Gogeta there. So that's 11th. We're starting to get into the top 10 now. And next, I do have Super Vegito. And this guy's still really crazy. I'd say he's not really benefiting from Golden Frieza Gogeta, obviously. I mean, you're not really, it's a movie boss, movie hero team. He's not on that. I've just had him, with the last one, right? I did have him at 10th as well. I still have him 10th. It's like, once again, I mean, the meta hasn't really changed. I mean, there's the Broly fight that can be kind of difficult, but I've found, just using like Golden Frieza, Gogeta really effectively stomps that. Or, like a Vegito taunt or something, right? So, I mean, that fight can build up sort of difficult, but it's not the most difficult. That's the only really different fight we've gotten since post TDC. I mean, the damage reduction obviously still very insane. All right, turn 1, even up to turn 3, you're very crazy defensively. I mean, Vegito's obviously still very crazy. Ironically, Vegeta is still the weaker portion of this card, because that first turn, before you stack defense, can be pretty rough. And I would say, Vegito, in certain scenarios, right? I mean, you definitely sort of need the defense stacks. So it's kind of rough, where this card has the opposite issue of the Gogeta card and unfortunately, it's the Vegeta side on both sides. This guy, I mean, he has 70% damage reduction on guard, but and that is really good. But there is no phase 2 defense here, so that first turn before you stack up can be pretty rough. But you kind of got to go for it. So it's a little weird, but I don't know. I found a lot of success still with Goku, Vegito. I don't really have any complaints about them. I think probably the next time we'll see this guy fall off would, because I don't imagine we're gonna get a lot more like better LRs than this. Like for the rest of the year, and I had a video going over like all the major releases we should expect up to the 11th anniversary. But I mean, we have this Part 2 LR, right? And then the end of the month we'll get a Dokkan Fest TUR. Then we'll see whatever they do with the hero slot. I think they're probably gonna have another Part 2 LR for that Dokkan Fest TUR. Then at the end of November, we'll have a Dokkan Fest TUR that'll lead into the Christmas Carnival. And from there, obviously, we'll have like New Year's. I would say, I mean, potentially we'll be getting some easy A's, super easy A's for LRs. We'll have to see. But we're getting at least 2 to 3 LRs that we know about throughout the rest of the year. At least 2, I should say. We'll probably end up with like 3 or 4 more LRs in total, though. I mean, we do know, for example, like there's like a Chi-Chi LR coming with this World Tournament. Now, I'm not saying, and I sincerely doubt, I guess we'll see, a World Tournament card's not going to be top 15, especially because even if the kit is good enough, you only have them really 55% at the beginning, and it takes forever the next World Tournament to come around, right? So even if potentially Chi-Chi could be like top 15, which I doubt, she wouldn't have the dupes for it, unfortunately, at the beginning. So I'm not even gonna count her, and we'll see what she does probably on like the 15th or something, 14th. I mean, at least it looks like it's gonna be an LR Chi-Chi. I guess we'll see. But yeah, we'll probably get like another Easy A, Super Easy A for an LR as well throughout the rest of the year. But I don't really, and I guess we'll see how good they are, but I don't really expect the top 15 to change too much relatively. I don't think they're going to really change the meta too much. I mean, we might see like a fight with like a new fight with like New Year's or something. I mean, we have the Giant Form Clash. That's pretty fun from the baby celebration here. I haven't done all of them, by the way. I've only done up to stage 3. They have been somewhat difficult, but I want to say they're like the meta or anything, right? So yeah, I don't know. Still really good. I don't expect this to change too much, but I guess we'll see. He's just sort of sitting at 10. He's still really good, but you know, I value the next character and all of them above him more. And to go into that, I mean, this guy's just crazy, right? Easy A, LR, Ultra Instinct Goku. Well, Master. Well, it's not really Mastered Ultra Instinct, but yeah, see, I mean, they only call him Goku Ultra Instinct, but I guess, I don't know, it's weird, the whole naming and manga stuff and whatever. But yeah, I mean, this guy's still really crazy. Right? I mean, we're in a short content meta. Even if we weren't in a short content meta, he'd be really crazy. The only time he's not crazy is when there's dodge chance, which, to be fair, you can't really take advantage of him in the hardest fight in the game, Gohan, Goten, Trunks. You just sort of have to tank that. But, you know, everywhere else, really, he's just really effective. You know, we're in a short content meta. He's, at least in my experience, he's effectively immortal, you know, throughout the fight. He's not, you know, the most competitive damage-wise anymore, obviously. But, I mean, he holds things down. He can potentially give you a revive. He's just, like, a really good fill option. You know, you're never going to, like, build a team around him. But if you can always, like, just throw him into the last slot, and he's pretty much always going to perform effectively. So, you know, not too much to say about this guy. He's really good. Now, this is where I think things are going to get a little, controversial here. It always seems to be around this slot that I feel like this is going to happen, but you know, this time around, I think in particular, not a lot of people are really going to agree with this going up, or at least for these next 4 or so slots. And for that, I would say the LR, Gohan, Trunks, Goten. The sort of post GDC LR. I mean, they were still somewhat part of GDC, but I mean, this character is obviously really good. Gohan, he's decent. He's not like insane, but he's decent. His support's obviously very powerful. The big thing for this character, why they're really so strong, is Goten and Trunks. And you know, I said this when they fucking released. I'm like, okay, you know, it's cool that we have a really premium character for, you know, Hybrid Saiyan Youth, but I know how Dokkan works. They are not gonna spam this character with the releases like they need. This character needs a lot of fucking youth. It has to be all youth. All youth. 7 fucking youth. That's what they need. And I knew it. They were not gonna get fucking buffs. I mean, since this character came out, right? We've had, I mean, we had Golden Frieza Gogeta. I guess technically we had the Pappy Gals, right? Then we had Golden Frieza Gogeta. Then we had, you know, Easy A LR Golden Frieza, Raph Broly, Super Easy A Broly, Baby Super 17, right? I guess we've had Possessed Trunks from GT as a banner unit, and we had the Coat Vegeta as a banner unit, but like, I knew this character was not going to get buffs. It was, I mean, we'll see what happens with the rest of the year, but that's just how Dokkan operates, you know, unfortunately. Sometimes they will, you know, go all out with a category, but a lot of times when we're like, okay, you know, this character needs 1, 2 more characters, right? And it could be really solid. Dokkan just says, nah, I'm good on that. So, and the thing is, it's like a very precarious situation for the team, right? Because, I mean, let's just pull up youth. If we go over to youth, right? I mean, who is like really insane here? You've fallen off. You're really decent versus Key Super still. He's really good. And I mean, you're really good. What do we got? Who else? Who else is there? I mean, Chi-Chi's really good, but she has to be next to Goku, right? Path to Power. I wasn't like his ECA made him decent, but they didn't really give him a lot. So he you know, we've had a meta power creep since he released. There's not a lot to youth. There's not a lot to youth. There's a lot of potential that youth has. This is an EZA upcoming. This is an EZA upcoming, right? This is, where is he? This is a super EZA upcoming, right? I mean, there is certainly a lot of potential that this category has. I'm not going to deny that at all. But it seems so obvious to me, you know, I know how Dokkan fucking operates, that even though youth needed the help, it was not going to get it. And it's like, we're on a ticking clock, because as good as Goten and Trunks probably will still be themselves at max power going into 11th anniversary, you know, I mean, it's kind of hard to age out guaranteed dodge and 70% and all the support and everything. Like, they are very insane themselves. I doubt they're going to age out anytime soon, but their issue is the rest of the youth roster is on a clock, a ticking clock, right? So, you know, by 11th anniversary, I expect most of the really good cards, or the cards that are just barely holding on, are going to fall off. You know, we will get power creep, I imagine. So, it's like, I mean, if this character gets the buffs necessary, I could see them moving up into the top 4, top 5, something like that. You know, in the past, I had them top 6, because their performance at max power is very insane, but that's at max power, and you just never fucking see that. And it's going to become even harder to see it going forward until they actually buff it. And until we actually see real buffs. I'm not just going to sit here going, any day now it's going to come. You know, I didn't anticipate it would, and it hasn't so far, so I'm not going to hold my breath. So I think they deserve the drop down. I don't know. I'm very... It's just... I don't know. You can't release a Dokkan Fest LR for a team that... Part of why I'm so pissed about this is I haven't uploaded it yet. This fucking ESBR they just released, Defenders of Justice, was so dog shit. It was so dog shit. And a lot of the roster is sort of shared between these categories. And it just made me that much more passionate about how bad of a release this is. Well, them specifically, they're really good, but at max power. And they need, you know, other characters to be at their max power, and those other characters just aren't good or aren't here. And hopefully they'll be coming soon, but until they do, I'm not going to hold my breath. You know, once again, this LR could shoot up quite a bit if those buffs come, but I don't think they are. I hope I'm proven wrong, though. So, yeah, that's Gohan, Goten, and Trunks. Next, we do have EZA, LR, Super Saiyan God, Goku, and Vegeta. Now, I think they've actually gotten a pretty decent buff, you know, once again, through the release of this guy. Just once again, I mean, same thing with like AGL Gogeta. They were already, although to be fair, they were already really good. It's just the Super Saiyan 4s inherently were more valuable, and I still think they are more valuable. But, you know, in the past, you know, I had it look like this. And to be fair, I guess they are in the same exact spot. But, you know, we've also had... I guess to be fair, it's not the it's more like I've swapped some characters around more or less, because I think most of my top is, you'll see how it is. So I guess they're in the same spot, but I just think their value, like, I don't think they're better than the Super Saiyan 4s, even though their value has gone up because of Golden Frieza Gogeta. And I suppose I should just pull them up now. I do have Golden Frieza Gogeta as number 6. I know a lot of people don't really like this card for whatever reason. I found them to always be really effective. Sure, they can take damage, but I don't know. At least like the Frieza side can. I mean, Gogeta, as long as you're giving him the orbs, I mean, he's practically always dodging, right? With the insane support, with insane damage. Like, he's insane. But I also really like Frieza. I mean, his taunt can make him do insane damage as well. So I do think it's really fair to be like, okay, the gods, and I do think they have gotten more value, which is why they're over, like, you know, Gohan, Goten, and Trunks. Plus, Gohan, Goten, and Trunks are worse. But, like, I don't think it's really fair for me to say, okay, they've gotten more value, so let me put them above them. I don't really know if I'd even do that, but just in general as a principle, even though I've thinking they've gotten more value, I don't think I can put them over the character that's given them more value. I think it makes sense to sort of highlight Golden Frieza Gogeta above, as they are buffing, you know, ECLR Golden Frieza. Vegeta and Goku, Super Gogeta, this character, right? I mean, even going down here, we could say, like, actually, I don't even think I have him here. Super Easy Broly, right? I think obviously gets a lot of value from Gogeta if you go into that route, because you can run Gogeta next to him. It's just you have to be exclusively movie bosses, right? So, I mean, this character, I don't know, a lot of people don't really like them. I think they do really good damage once you get the hits, but when we're in a short content meta, I find the taunt to be very helpful. I mean, I suppose I actually haven't said recently, I have one dupe in him. I do not have this character at all. Rainbow, 2 dupes, 1 dupe, Rainbow, and then I said everyone else down here already. So just throwing that out there. But yeah, I don't know. I really like this card. I feel like I like them a lot more than a lot of other people. I still wouldn't put them in front of any of the top 5. You know, originally it looked like their kit was like top 1 material, but, you know, Frieza obviously can take quite a bit of damage. But I don't know. I really like Frieza. You know, he's really good. He actually does help movie bosses be somewhat of a team. It's not a really, really good team, but, you know, him alone does make it actually a viable, somewhat at least, to run. And he's also really good and actually even better on Omega's team. You know, he's a good piece to run on Omega's team. So I think he's a really good release. I don't think a lot of people really think that. I think he will probably, you know, start to age out with the next meta, but we're not there yet. And, you know, I do think we probably have more movie stuff coming this year. So I expect him to be in an even stronger position by the end of the year before he starts to fall off. So I really like him. I have him here. Now, honestly, from here on out, I think we could wrap up pretty quickly, honestly. Because I don't really have anything different to say about my top 5. In fact, I literally feel the exact same way about them. The exact same way. I know that's a little, just throwing up 5 of like a third of the list at the same time, essentially. It's a little weird to do, but I mean, I don't really think any differently about these guys. I mean, the Super Saiyan 4 is still really crazy. I mean, both of these characters have their first turn very good defensively, right? But I really value, once going to Gogeta, I mean, the Scouter, right? The sort of counter, like, it very insane. The damage reduction and guard, I've always preferred. right? I mean, they're just really good, right? If we go over to Rosé, Super Bosses has gotten more buffs since post GDC. I would not say that makes me feel like he's better at all, because especially with the not being big bad boss characters, um, I he's still really decent. His team has gotten help. I don't think Super Bosses is insane by any means, but it's gotten help. Um, and he's just like really good to throw on like Omega's team. You know, I really like him on Omega's team. That hasn't changed at all. You know, he's really good. I really like him. Obviously, Gogeta is very insane. Now, still, as I had before, with these being the same color, as you'll see, all these are different colors. I do have it color coordinated. I think you could switch these. Genuinely. I think if you want to say Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, number 2, Omega 3, I mean, I don't really have an issue with that necessarily. I think I do feel more strongly about Omega number 2 than I did before. I was honestly thinking about not having them sort of color swappable. Not that Gogeta's gotten any worse, but I like Omega more and more, and you know, especially with like the release of Golden Frieza Gogeta, you know, easy LR Golden Frieza. I mean, his team's getting more buffs, and I think Golden Frieza Gogeta is like a really good addition to Omega's team in general. A really nice piece to sort of put it together, right? So I was thinking about just like flat out making him number 2, but you know, I still have left it up to interpretation, sort of, because obviously Gogeta is still really crazy. Just I prefer the value that Omega gives to everyone else overall. And then for Tag Blue Goku and Vegeta, I mean, once again, nothing's really changed. They're still really good at dodging. They're still, you know, if they fail to dodge, they're still really good defensively. They have like the best team in the game, or one of. I mean, I prefer running Omega's team, but I mean, obviously, Fuse Fighter Future is really crazy. I mean, they do really good damage. Like, nothing's really changed since post GDC. It's just we've gotten new additions that have made me think better about some characters. Maybe not getting some additions have made me think less about some characters. But overall, I mean, the top 5 is still, I think, really insane. I don't think I'd really change anything about this. Now, I suppose now is as good a time as any. I didn't really talk about this. We should pull these guys up. Super easy, Broly. Like I said towards the beginning, there have been several additions. I don't think all of those additions are on the list. Now, Tien, I actually think is still really good. I think Tien, I'd probably have him, honestly, like 16 or something. These 3, I don't even know where the hell I'd have them. I actually probably, this guy would probably be 16, 17, something like that. I'm actually more impressed with Super DCA Broly than I thought I would be. He has really good damage, and at least I'm not the biggest fan of his like post super defense, but I've actually found on like full movie bosses, you know, those first 3 turns, he's actually really insane as a tank, because that extra damage reduction defense, he's actually really crazy slot 1, at least in my experience. Super 17, I feel like he's like a decent, easy A. He's like, I don't know, he deserved a lot more. He's just so wonky to build still. You make the team worse for building him, and he himself does not look good enough for that, right? He's decent offensively and decent defensively, but he's not like insane on either of those. And he's certainly not good enough to like mess up the whole Big Bad Bosses rotation for, you know, GT Bosses. And I do think his best setup is GT Bosses, not really the baby team. But, you know, you need him to really... He doesn't really look the best off of Omega's team, but you have to screw over Omega and his team to run him. So it's just... I feel like he's such a bad release yet again, unfortunately. Like, he's actually, like, he can put up some decent stats, but it's just, you have to make the entire team considerably worse to do it. And his decent stats are not competitive to, like, these guys. So, it's just, I don't know. And Carnival Wrath Bully, I actually really like his design. I will say, I wanted to note this at the end, in particular. Because once again, I do want to state the date. It's October 11th. obviously 2025. I think this guy has the potential to be one of the best aging characters of this year. I do think so. I think the 11th anniversary will be a long content meta. I think him, Baby, characters like that, I think we'll see a lot more stacking characters the rest of this year, are going to look a lot better with the 11th anniversary. I think, I know the long content meta was, we'll see how they handle it, right? But I think this guy will look insane, potentially, in 3-4 months. I think it would be a good idea on whoever the Christmas Carnival is to summon on that banner. It should have Khalifa Kale. It will have Wrath Broly. And obviously, I mean, whoever the new Carnival banner, Christmas, whatever. I mean, it's a double rates banner as well. And from there, I mean, it's literally just the Christmas, Carnival, New Year's, and then the very next release. I mean, all of January essentially is dead until the 11th anniversary starts. So, I don't know. We'll have to see. I really like this guy's design. I really like having a huge stacker like this. I think he's a lot of fun. But he just, mine's 55%. In my experience, it's just, even in like the Broly fight, I mean, he can get fucked up. He can start to do some really decent damage, honestly, by the end, but his defense just isn't there. And I've found mixed success. I mean, it is a 50-50. I don't know. I feel like my odds have been better than 50-50 for the normal super, but I feel like his additional should have been like at least great chance. Or I was gonna say maybe even, I don't know, maybe even like give us 18 key, like greatly stacking or something instead. I think something about him should have been different if they wanted him to be better in this meta. I think also when receiving a super attack, that portion of his passive, he could have gotten temporary 30% damage reduction, and then he'd actually probably be up here, somewhere on the list. I do think so, because that would help him tremendously in the short content meta. Because turn 1 he'd be immortal versus supers. Turn 2 he'd look a lot less, but he'd still be really good defensively. In turn 3, or rather his third appearance, right? He'd only have 30% damage reduction versus the super, and the guard, right? So he could still take damage. It's just he's meant for a long content meta. We are not in a long content meta. I do think he will potentially age pretty well, but we don't know. And I feel like all these characters perform better than him currently. I don't know where I'd put him, honestly. Because, my old tier list, right? Like, Tien obviously is very crazy. I mean, who else is there that's really crazy right now? I don't know. I don't really like. I think Tech Broly's still really good. I think Giant Ape, Vegeta, wherever the hell he's at. I'm blind right now. This is 2021. 2021. 20. There he is. I think he's still really good, right? But they fumble. This guy's EZA, unfortunately. I don't know. We'll have to see how this guy ages. But this is more or less what I'm feeling for top 15. I think I'm pretty confident in all these placements. I think Gohan, Goten, Trunks might be a little controversial, but I didn't see help coming, and so far it hasn't. So I don't see any reason to give this character the benefit of the doubt anymore. Even though their potential is crazy, it's like, what is the character actually doing, not what they potentially can. Which is why I think, even though potentially this guy might be really crazy with the 11th anniversary, I'm not going to put him, oh yeah, he should be 6 because he'll probably age really well comparatively. It's like, no, we're not doing that. we're not doing that at all. It's what is he doing right now, and we're in a short content meta, so he was a bad time to release. I think he will probably age better than some of these characters, so. But yeah, I think that about wraps things up here. I mean, we'll see how controversial or not this is, I guess, soon. I'm recording this the day of. Because I wanted to make sure to get all my experience in with Super 17 before I did. So I thought potentially he could make this. I don't think so. But yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking. I'm actually really curious to see what everyone else is thinking. I actually have avoided looking at any other sort of tier lists. I probably will, watch some other videos after this. I don't know. We'll see. I'm curious what other people are really thinking. Usually I get a really good idea of that from Twitter. But recently Twitter is like eating itself alive. The Dokkan community on there. It's, I don't really pay too much attention to it. Some of the accounts I interact with the most I'm mostly talking about Gekishin right now, which I'm actually really interested in Gekishin too. But I don't know. It seems like a lot of people are just like losing interest with Dokkan, at least on Dokkan Twitter. I don't find that to be the case personally. I've enjoyed the game now more so than ever. I get where people are coming from, where the numbers have inflated very fast over a really short period of time. I do think with the 11th anniversary, they need to not overly inflate the stats. I think they will, obviously make things a little harder. But let me rephrase it, I guess, this way, because I did say there will be power creep. I think the power creep there will age out characters that are like just barely holding on, right? Or characters who are looking good will start to look worse. But I think it's probably going to be more like 7th to 8th anniversary power creep, where the stats went up a little bit, but not enough to age out like the characters from the previous year. Because we had a leader skill power creep, I think they're going to be cautious. I also think because I think we'll shift to a long content meta, they're going to want to be a little more cautious in regards to that as well, in how they structure all the actual power creep, because a lot of the characters we have right now, are more so meant for short content. So, which is what we have, so that's good. But, a lot of these characters, it could change up. This list will change up significantly, I do think so, by, mid-February next year. So, we'll have to see. But, once again, we're not there yet, so I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to end things here. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Take care.